check whether we are streaming. Channel. Hey, we are live. Let's go, boys.
Whee!
Okay. All right. Hello and welcome. Welcome to 2K1A's play-by-play slash come learn with me. We're still working this out, but um yeah, how you doing, Danny?
Yeah, not bad. Just chilling out, you know.
Sure.
Uh, looks like I was seeing a lot of red on your
Yeah.
watch list there.
Yeah, there's some blood in the streets, my boy. There's some blood in the streets.
Yeah,
Let's
I keep looking at that Bitcoin daily chart, and I'll
yeah.
tell you what, I'm not getting a lot of confidence. I'm still thinking A, B, C, D down. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm seeing that bot setup. I'm seeing it more clearer, and I've got a couple of triangles going, and if we break down, if we lose this, all coins could see a further drop.
Yeah,
Um, which
that's
sounds and like yeah, I wouldn't have thought it would have this would happen, but definitely yeah, definitely possible.
I mean, we've got some support here at 17K, but
Oh,
this is nothing.
yeah, that's twigs, man.
Yeah, this is where we're talking.
Yeah.
This is where we are talking. So yeah, 100% agree with you, man. This is scary. This is well, not scary. This is just really interesting times. Really interesting times. And look, it looks like we've got an M coming in. We've got a nice M coming in.
Oh, it's not that great.
Eh,
Probably more of a fractal than an M.
Um, yeah, that's true actually. Oh, it's actually kind of a looks like it wants to be a bear flag, another bear flag.
Yeah.
Hmm. Let us try something here and do just a boink. Oh, boink, boink.
Oh, look at
Hmm.
that.
Look at that
2.618
2.618.
into the ABCD.
Hmm.
And that there's that 2 level, so that's that
That's that.
parking
That's
garage level.
yep. Yep. I mean, come on, man. This is like confluence to a T.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Actually, I need to save this here. Okay. Getting started. Uh, I have I've just come back from work and I've there's a few things that are piquing my interest. I've been looking at
Ron?
TRX Tron.
What a what a name. That takes me back.
To the sweet times, right?
Yeah.
Um, very weird because hey, why is my chaos all weird? Never mind. Well, the reason why is because it's broken out of this weekly trend line. And look at this. Look at this.
I got a nice little
Nice
bit of
little
structure going on there.
nice little W here. Um, and honestly, let's go on to a longer time frame. This here kind of, not really. I
Oh,
was,
it looks a bit early, but there's a short-term play there, probably on a 15-minute chart.
well, let's check it out, eh? This is the play-by-play, right? So, how about we do a bit of trading? Let's see. Well, it's kind of already, it's emmed out. Let's see whether it will retrace.
Well, I mean, it definitely respected that 2.618.
Yeah, yeah. It actually hit the 50% rule and kind of rallied up, and now it's rejected again at the 2.618. So,
That doesn't look like a 50%.
this one here.
I think, yeah, maybe it's because you got heaps of levels on it. It's just freaking me out.
um, it's interesting because actually on the lower time frame, we've got a really nice um, 3 low. Boom, boom.
Well, I wouldn't really call that
You wouldn't
three
call that a
lows.
3 low?
The well, it depends how low the first low is. Does the first low hold or does it get broken?
The
Yeah, no, it
first
gets
low.
broken, dude.
Ah, you're right. It does get broken. Why was I going? Oh, maybe this is the first low. Nope, it isn't.
I mean, if you want to take the three lows, take it from where it broke that low.
Which
No,
one?
no, go
This one
go
here.
right. Yeah, that's the first one,
Boom, boom,
and the second one,
boom.
and the third one. There you go.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
I
makes
mean,
sense.
that's if you want to do it, you know, Brian's way.
Yeah. No, that's actually right. Um, so I actually I just sent you a message, and I entered a trade, and this is the trade that I entered, and it's not looking so good. It is not looking good at all.
Honestly, I thought front ran it a little.
Yeah,
You can see where it's got rejected. In the first high, you can
here
see how many highs it's tried to break out
to
of that,
break out of.
and it hasn't. Normally, you would take a trade on the retest of that, or if it breaks out. But in this case, what I would have done is I would have drawn a reload zone from 0.34 to 0.38,
Point three.
34.
Oh, here.
Yep, I would have reload zoned that, and
Yeah,
look for an entry
yeah.
below, yeah,
Below
it's back at
50%.
this, yeah, below 50%.
Yeah.
And I'd wait for the Bollinger Bands on the RSI to squeeze again, because right now they've expanded and you can see how it's broken back below the 50.
And look at the volume. Supply is going up. People are selling. So
Well, do
I've
you want to
just
give us a rundown on that new indicator you got going on there?
yes, I will. This is a really great indicator that I found. Like I like to go on TradingView and just see what people are doing. And this person, I don't know who this person is, but they've made this indicator and it's absolutely brilliant. What it does is it tells you the amount of demand going in, so how many people want the asset and how many people are selling the asset, right? Now I've only used this for about a week now, so don't have the biggest grasp on it, but this line here basically tells you um, when either supply or demand is going to break out, and your target for the breakout is this yellow line here, the zero line. So fundamentally, what you got to look for here is okay, is if you're a bull, you want to see this. You want to see this here where the blue crosses up at the zero line, right? And where demand, which is this blue X dotted line, crosses above the orange dotted line, which is the supply line. So the blue line is demand, the orange line is supply.
Kind of reminds me of like a stochastics, but with volume.
Yeah, that's why I kind of like it because it kind of blends the two. Um, it's really fascinating. I actually used it successfully on where are we? Where was it?
Whilst you're having a look at that, I do want to just stress that, you know, the type of indicator that you've got on,
Yeah,
it looks like it would work very well in a range. Depending on how you look at it, just because I can see that you can get mixed signals very quickly.
a
Um,
100%. This is a more of a range trader tool. Um, what's VT?
yeah, because there's a lot of signals coming in and out. So,
Yeah.
but you can definitely fine tune it. Um, but I can see how, you know, how easy it is to get
Oh,
mixed up with a signal like that.
so I entered this trade using this tool here. Um, so I actually entered here, which oh sorry, I entered here the 31st, right? I bought this little breakout here at oh no, excuse moi, at 2.5. So I kind of came in late, But look at what it told you. It told you it's gonna break out, and it broke out. It's a decent indicator. Um, I'm still fleshing it out. It's definitely like a great tool to suss out. If you see here, supply is kind of crossing above demand. It's almost crossing above demand on the daily, so you're going to expect a further dump. And if this blue line, which is basically the amount of pressure, the buy pressure, because it's tanking now, if it crosses below the zero mark, then you know it's going to dump even further. But
It looks like to me, it looks like it's a bit of a lagging
that
indicator.
that's exactly what I was
You can
going to say.
still use it,
Yeah.
but I would say there's a maybe experiment with divergence on that type of indicator because whenever you got a lagging indicator, divergence is often way you would
Ahead.
kind of it would help you find entries.
Mm.
But you can see how on that back going up to your structure on the price chart, you
Yep.
can see how it broke down. Yeah, right there,
Mhm.
and even the next candle. But you can see how the volume indicator hadn't crossed yet.
Hasn't crossed
So
yet.
see how it's a lagging
Yep.
indicator.
Yep.
The price had already broken down, whereas the indicator itself was still figuring out,
Mm.
where it wanted to be
You know what's
relative.
interesting? I wonder whether this type of tool is more for like short-term trades.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. It's probably really good for the range trade, the short time frame.
Mm.
You can still get very mixed signals. So you would have to figure out, the basics of, or basically the the underlying mechanics of the actual indicator and figure out, what it actually is and what the best way is to use it.
Mm. You know what I think this indicator also takes into account? It doesn't take into account the complete print. Like it doesn't um like with a MACD, it prints coinciding with the price. But I think this type of indicator takes into account the wick as well, right? Um, I'm doing a very horrible job at explaining what I'm trying to say, but yeah,
So you're saying like because it's taking into account the wicks, it can be uh I wouldn't say volatile, I would say something along the lines of mis misinterpreted in a way.
yeah, it misinterprets. Like, say for example, this candle here. If this section of the indicator represents just one candle, right? One print. But I think what it's doing here, it's actually taking into account the the buy pressure. So it's taking into account the open all the way to the close. It's not taking into account just the complete print.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's tricky. It's
Kind
I'm
of.
still kind of messing about with this. Um,
Yeah, I think it'd be best to figure out, what how the indicator itself is calculated because if you know how it's calculated, you can find out what type of indicator it is and
mm,
the ways that you can use it. Because for every indicator, there's it's got its advantages and disadvantages. So you just got to figure out what is it best at and what is it in what situations do you try not to use it.
right, right. This is the person. Let me see. Um, Never mind. We're going off course here. Um, well, I'll get back to you on this, cause
Yeah, I mean, look,
yeah,
you've only, like you said, you've only been using it for a week, so definitely still got to experiment on it and
um,
find out a bit more about
like
it.
actually intensively using it, like trying to make trades consistently on it for about a week, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
I definitely wouldn't use it until you've paper traded it at least like 100 times and back tested it,
That's
and
actually true.
because obviously you don't want to be. It's like going into war, and you've
Yeah,
got a knife, and the guy's got a gun, right? Like you
yeah,
haven't. Well, I wouldn't even say that. It's like I would say you're going in to well, let's say like I don't know, you're cooking and you're cutting like a fish, right? And you haven't sharpened your knife yet.
yeah,
Well, you can't expect to cut the fish like very well if you haven't sharpened it yet. So
a
it's just a
hundred
matter of
percent,
learning the tools and getting to know it and putting the miles in essentially.
100%, 100%. You're right. So yeah, we spoke about this token here on yesterday on our podcast. Guys, check out our podcast. It's on Spotify, Crypto Universe, two crypto, one analyst.
On
Um,
Google as well.
on Google as well. That's correct. Um, so this blockchain as a service asset is really interesting because it's been around since like 2017. We said 2017 yesterday, right? That's
Yeah, a long time.
It's
Long
been a
time.
while. It's been a while, but it's only been recently listed on Binance. And to be honest with you, once something is listed on Binance, you can expect a surge in volume, like just a massive surge in volume. Um, at the moment, it's not the greatest, but it's definitely trying to do a nice bot setup here. It's trying to, but it kind of got rejected here
Uh,
at
Look, yeah,
66.
I think it looks like it would have got stops the even at the 50%. So it looks like you would have been stopped.
Yeah.
And in this case, it'd probably be a good stop because it looks like it wants to continue further down.
Yeah. Thankfully, this is just a paper trade. I uh, I put it on just to see whether it was going to actually pump. And then my idea was, okay, well, if it pumps, I expect it to kind of
Well, yeah, ideally
topple out
that
here.
would have been the level, but in this case, not this was not all bots work.
Yeah.
33% of the time it's probably going to fail,
Yeah.
maybe 40% of the time. It definitely looked good, you know, back in on the 9th. Definitely was setting up to look really good, but now obviously, you know, things can change very
Here.
quickly.
Yeah.
And like we've seen that. I was saying a couple of days ago, Alts are setting up really well.
Mm.
Even a week ago, I would have been saying Alts are setting up very well, but now, just at a flip of a switch, you're getting very bearish structure coming in now.
Extremely bearish. Have you checked Twitter at all today just to see whether some fundamental news has, you know? But this is basically. So guys, we're based out of Australia, and today is Monday. So in America, it's Sunday at the moment, and I think it's almost like what 7 a.m. there.
Yeah, they're about to wake up.
They're about to wake up. Usually on our Monday, uh their Sunday, it's just red. That's what I've seen. Once market opens in America, usually we see like a little turn. Um,
Sometimes on the odd occasion, you will see some green whilst they're sleeping, but in this case, it's not
it's
looking too
it's
hot.
it's not looking hot at all.
I mean, to be honest, if this is the case where it doesn't look too hot right now, it might just set up some long setups going into US Open.
Yeah.
That's always a possibility, but at the same time, like it things don't look too great right now.
This is another name that I found over the weekend. Refinance.
Refinance, yeah, I've
Have you heard of it?
it's been in and out. It's it's one of those wasn't it one of those DeFi, one of those
It's
those
one of the
finance
original
protocols.
DeFi protocols.
Yeah, so look, I don't expect this name to be around too long. Um, I don't claim to know the full story, but I don't think this is something um, that we need to watch out for. You can still definitely trade it on the short term. I think if you go to a daily, the volume doesn't might not be too great.
The volume of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of looks like a playground at the moment. Yeah, yeah, it's the
Where's the
balls have
OBV?
died. Oh, yeah, it's
Oh,
plateauing now.
it's not
Looks like
terrible actually.
accumulation actually.
Yeah, there's some accumulation going on.
Yeah.
Maybe if it retraces back to point 0.4.
This is a nice little level here. Um,
I mean, actually, the way that you've set that up, where you've got the two lines intersecting,
mm,
it could be some type of bow tie
bow
action, some
tie.
type of fractal action where it'll kind of on the other side, you could do a what's it called? You could do a mirror, so you can copy the price action from
Oh
the low
yeah.
to the current price, and you could flip it, and the market can kind of act in um, that fractal nature.
Where is that again?
So you're gonna find. Oh, I can't remember the last time I used it.
I remember it's
Uh,
called bar pattern or something.
yeah. It's the one below. No. It's below. Yeah, that one.
There we are.
Yeah, something along these lines, and just flip that.
Flip
On the bottom. Yeah, there you go. And then just mirror that. Something along. I think that seems reasonable.
here.
That seems pretty reasonable to me.
Oh, well, let's keep that on there and see what happens. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll get like a little short-term rally
Yeah,
bounce here.
because I feel like we're gonna play. See how we're gonna play on the other side of those trend lines?
Yeah,
And we're just going to replicate it on the other side. That's definitely a possibility. I feel like based off of the current price action, that's probably pretty likely to happen.
let's see here, and then I'll go do. Yeah, let's see. Huh. Yeah, we shall see. Oh, it's hitting this resistance point at 27.18. Interesting. Um,
To be honest, I'm not really paying too much attention to Reef, but maybe it's a good time to set
you
some
know what?
bids
You know what's
and
interesting?
slowly accumulate.
100% with, well, honestly, any altcoin at the moment would be great to accumulate. Like, find if it's at the bottom of its freaking
Range.
range and it's making a W on the other side of a trend line. I mean, it's kind of a
It's a
no-brainer.
no-brainer. Yeah.
It's kind of a no-brainer. Um, and honestly, here's a nice little. It's actually
Actually, that's
making a
actually got a
nice little
lot of
W.
volume. Is that a weekly?
That is a weekly.
That actually, I might. You know what? Save that because we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
think it's definitely caught my eye now. If you show me a weekly W in price structure,
it's
and if you show me a MACD div, it's honestly I'd buy it. Like
it's because it almost every time it works. Like
yeah, the percentages are pretty
pretty high.
stacked in your favor.
Pretty high.
Do you have an not an OBV? Do you have a MACD?
I do have a MACD. Da, 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 da. Look at that.
Can you
Oh,
zoom in on that? That's a there's a div there.
that's a nice little
Oh,
div.
it's
I mean
it's
that
cutting it.
there, that there. You could, that's by the skin of your teeth there.
No. What's the midpoint?
What do you mean?
Where's the midpoint?
Oh, here.
What's the value?
Point 0.00051.
503?
Uh,
Oh,
five
518.
5-1.
518.
Yeah.
So where's the and does it break that high?
No, it doesn't actually. It's just boom, boom. It actually goes
Yeah, it
below.
does.
It's
Yeah, it
just
does. Look at the
where?
number. Go back to the other one.
Here.
Yeah. What's that number?
Oh,
565.
5, 6. Oh, never mind.
So it does break it. So that actually is a div, guys.
Never.
So if you want to be
Oh,
technical, that is actually a div.
Oh shit, shit, shit. You're right.
That's why I said zoom in.
You're
You
right.
know,
You're right.
don't
You're right.
just guys, and don't just eyeball it. If it looks close, zoom in a little, and definitely is a div. I mean, you look at the volume as well. Yeah, it's a nice div. It's not the best div. It's cutting it close, but it is what it is. It is
But
a div.
is it a new name?
No.
No?
Relatively speaking, you could say new in terms of crypto. Oh, actually, you could. Okay, when it's crypto, a year is pretty old. Um, so I guess you could say it's an old name, but
Okay.
it is fairly. In terms of cycles, it's new to the cycle.
Mhm.
So yeah,
So
want to keep an eye out and look at the volume that has just
that's
come in.
just massive right here.
That's big
Someone
accumulation
supported
volume.
this right here. Someone
Yeah,
didn't want it to go lower.
yeah. Keep an eye out on that one.
Someone
Yeah,
didn't want it.
definitely. We'll add that for next week's conversation.
Um, I know you don't like this MACD and simple moving average cross, estimated
The
moving average
signal
cross.
line.
Yes, but I actually really like this. So for me, it's one is is the div, and then the lagging signal lines. So usually,
I
if I
guess you
see,
could say the lagging is the confirmation for you.
yeah, for me that's another confirmation. Well, one is the div, the structure, and then this little cross. So if it's
Yeah.
crossed below the zero mark, right? If it's crossed above the orange line, the blue line is the MACD line, then we're getting volume. And you see here, it crossed here, and then what? Look at that. It starts accumulating. So it's pretty decent. It is pretty
Yeah, I
decent.
mean, look, when it comes to when you look at the signal line,
Mm,
it's like a moving average, right? Moving averages can cross up and down. They can give you mixed signals.
yeah,
Obviously, on a weekly chart, you're not going to get as much mixed signals just because the time it takes
is
is
way
going to be a
longer.
lot slower.
Yeah,
But obviously, if it was like a 15 minute, that could change, in 15
yeah,
minutes. So you can get mixed signals very easily when it comes to things like those signals and moving
yeah,
averages, and that's why I personally take. And guys, this is exactly what's great about trading. Everyone looks at the same thing differently.
hmm
So, you know,
So for
HT could be looking at the signal line here and he'd be going, "That's a bull," and then I could be looking at that same signal line and say, "That's a bear."
yeah, so honestly, I don't use these two lines on anything below 4 hours.
Yeah, and see that's your so that's your reasoning, your limitation.
Yeah,
That's how you use it, and that all comes down to personal taste, guys. And
yeah,
so, whenever you're learning about technical analysis and all these tools, everyone's got a different take on the same tool. So it's all about developing your own technique, your own strategies, and you got to backtest these things. Don't just come in and do something that someone else has done just because it looks cool. I mean, yeah, it looks cool, but if you don't know it yourself, then you're probably not going to have a fun time trading if you don't know how the mechanics of your indicator works.
a hundred
So get
percent.
to know your indicators. That's probably a big takeaway point.
Very, very well said, man. Very well said. Because it's true, man. Because this is your tool belt. Each tool belt is different. Um, so I actually spoke to you yesterday about all of these companies in Australia that are tokenizing their shares, and one of them that looked pretty decent to me was, well, not decent. It just was interesting. Was Energy Web token.
EWT. Now that's a nostalgic name.
Is it?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but there was some guy that was trying to shill it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a while back. Yeah, I can't remember his name. Um, but he was one of those guys that would call some projects out, and they would pump pretty quickly after that announcement. But looking at the volume, it doesn't look too hot.
It doesn't look hot at all.
There's a MACD div, so
Yeah.
that looks nice.
It doesn't look good at all. But the reason why I speak about this is there's kind of a movement going on with, especially, startups here in Australia, where they've actually gone into the space and have decided, you know what, let's just tokenize shares, and there's quite quite a handful. I was looking up just to double check yesterday on like these job seeker websites, and heaps of Australian companies are just, crypto companies are starting out and picking up, and it's interesting because do you reckon this might be just a new wave of, legacy companies deciding, you know what, if you can't beat them, join them type thing, like
Look,
whether,
it's early days. Definitely early days for that type of thinking, but it's definitely the way forward. It's just a matter of, which technologies, which blockchains have the best fundamentals laid out, if all the groundwork is done and the 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 way that these traditional companies can integrate into a system like this, the easier it is for them, you know, obviously the more reason for them to be in it. Um, but yeah, we'll definitely see.
hmm. So
That chart doesn't look too great.
no, it doesn't, and unfortunately, I got stopped out. I actually
Well, like
tweeted about
look
this.
how look at how you said W on the other side of the
Yeah,
daily trend, and see, look at on the daily price action, you didn't get structure up. You got to break down, and that's why you don't take trades on a trend line until you
exactly.
get structure.
And hey, we all make that mistake. Sometimes you're really hyped and it looks just too good, and you're like, you know
Don't get me
what?
wrong, it looks good, but look at how there were some telltale signs that that trade was a bit too early. On a 15 minute, yes, there were some gains to be made, but on a daily chart, I would look at that OBV and I would look at the M structure and
Yeah,
I would say that it hasn't even after, yeah, so around you know, 12th, 14th October,
14th of October,
or maybe
13th
even
of
late
September,
October,
you mean?
maybe 20th. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Actually October. Just go to October.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so around there you can see how the OBV is still it's still got M structures.
yeah.
You don't see any there's no W structures. There's the cell volumes coming hotter. And if you zoom back out on the chart, so if you zoom out on the price action,
Mhm.
look, okay, guys, this is very important and I can't stress this enough. Look at where price is relative to bases, highs and lows. So you want to think of it, are
Do you want me to
we? So
draw anything here?
we're nah, that's fine. You can keep that there. But guys, are we running down a hill or are we, running it? Are we going down a hill or are we like riding a wave? So at the moment well, actually I phrased that wrong. It's all about location, right? And Brian's what he will stress that location is one of the most important things you need to take a trade. For example, when if you're going to buy property, what's the first thing they say?
Location, location, location.
Location, location, location. Yeah, you're right. And where are we? Are we, in the middle of nowhere? Are we in the desert? Or, are we in the mountains or are we like, in the oceans? And we're nowhere. We're not at we're not at the bottom of the ocean. We're not on the top of a mountain. We're in the desert. We're in no man's land.
Yeah,
And you've drawn that. I can see that you've drawn that reload zone there. So, we want to be hunting those reload zones. Below 618. Possibly. Better yet at 786 and 886 because you can see there that and look left HT. You know,
yeah. It's not
that's
the
what they always
greatest.
say. That's not a very great support level that you've got there.
Yeah, it's not.
So
It's not
I
great at
do want
all.
to stress that the trade that you took, your location was probably a bit suspect.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, it hit the 61.8, so that would have been a great short-term trade. But in terms of longer-term play, that was a bit you front ran that a lot.
yeah. 100%.
Um, But yeah, no, if you obviously if you zoomed into like a 10 minute, 1 minute chart, there was probably a really nice trade there somewhere.
Well, this is where I entered. this is where I thought, okay, well, we broke out here. Boom. We got the breakout, and then. But hey, you win some, you lose some, and
Yeah. Was
next
it a
bust in
paper
10
trade or was it
minutes.
an actual trade?
No, this one was actually a paper trade. It wasn't. Um, it wasn't a live trade, which is
And take note of that too, guys. Like HT here, he's paper trading, which is great because paper trading's free. You don't have to spend money to paper trade. So you know definitely put some paper trades on if you got time because you can learn or you can always learn something from it.
well, hey, you gotta do the repetitions, right? This is why you make these mistakes during paper trades, so that you don't make them
Exactly,
on live trades. So,
exactly, guys. And
uh,
when it sometimes even when it comes to these trades, it's the way you manage um, how you manage your emotions and your actions, um, because there is no right or wrong. Yes, there is, but when it comes to the market, it's going to do whatever it wants. So,
exactly.
you know, you just got to learn how to, roll with the punches.
So, everything is just horrible at the moment. Just horrible.
Well,
And
that's why I'm thinking it might be setting up for some type of bullish move.
look at
But yeah,
that,
we
Danny.
might see some further moves to the downside for now, short term.
This is this is really interesting. Like everything is red except Tron.
Yeah,
Everything.
and you can see the volume. There's
It's
a lot of volume coming in.
it's let's see on the daily actually. Daily, it's not that. Let's go weekly. So, would you say that the Bears are asleep at the moment? Well, they
Oh,
haven't really been. They're not asleep.
I would say the bull is asleep.
The Bull is definitely asleep, but I mean, this is what.
Well, this is
Yeah,
this is incumbent on both. It feels like both bull and bear are asleep. It's just incumbent on one to wake up.
yeah. Um, this is what irks me during these types of markets. These, heavy bear, like crypto winter markets, because you're getting divs and you're getting the things that you think, you know, um, are pointing towards the right direction. And you're like, okay, it's gonna change now. It's gonna change now because I'm getting all of the signals. I'm getting all the signals, and then it just,
And that's why they say like do you go with do you swim downstream or upstream? I
yeah,
mean, it's a matter of perspective because yeah, you can try and predict the point in which the stream changes, but that doesn't happen very often, right? So sometimes for when it comes to longer term trade ideas, if you're in a long term downtrend, maybe hunt, you know, bear moves, hunt shorts on the short term time frame because you'll be swimming, downstream rather than upstream.
mm,
So when it comes to trading, if you're in a bear market, I like to hunt shorts, and in a bull market, I like to hunt longs.
mm,
Because if you think about it that way, you'll probably find better setups to match with the longer term macro time frames.
yeah. You know what's interesting? So I read on Twitter this morning that H bar has got into business with these financial institutes, like we were talking about yesterday with uh, I'm gonna call it Nibble because I don't know how the hell to pronounce this. Niblo, Nibble. I'm just
I would say Neblio.
Neblio. Okay, Neblio. That sounds better.
Yeah,
Neblio.
like Nebula.
Yeah. So Neblio, just like Neblio, HBAR has gone into business with these financial institutes and these people in the financial sector, and I'm keeping my out on this at the moment, to be honest with you,
That's
because
always been the story for H bar.
that is true. It's been a long running story, and I don't know.
Because before that massive bull run, there was nothing happening, and then they announced that they were doing something with Google, and all of a sudden, they 10x or 100x or whatever they did.
well, apparently that actually fell through. That they're not working with Google no more.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is all normal things. Like when you're at a bottom end of a range, when you accumulate at the bottom end of the ranges, and then there are potential stories to come down the pike, then yeah, that's why you get these massive bull runs. And obviously, when you buy up at the top, at some point down the line, you're gonna see news fall through, like things like projects fall through with you know promises that they couldn't keep, or news comes out that they actually didn't partner with some of these other companies or
Yeah.
institutions. So it is what it is.
It's interesting because HBAR is the only blockchain that I know of that's using the DAO system, which is basic. It's not a blockchain. It's basically a think of it as like a mind map. It's not a block. It's not a chain. It's more of a mind map. That's how their system works. And their uh,
Well, I thought there were many blockchain companies that use that DAO structure.
which ones? To be honest with you, this is the only one that I've heard of.
There's definitely a couple. I can't remember off the top of my head. Um, I can't even remember what it even stands for. Is it decentralized
Decentralized.
autonomous
Um,
organization?
I'm not 100% sure.
And then there's DAGs, and I forget what
I
DAGs
think
are.
that's what it is. I think that's what it is. It's actually a DAG. Let me double
Yeah,
check.
I think that
DAG.
that probably makes more sense.
Um, I'm just looking it up real quick. Um, Jeez, my internet does not agree with me at the moment. Do you mind looking it up on your end? Oh, never
Yeah, right.
mind.
I mean,
A
you got it?
directed acrylic graph is a data modeling or structuring tool typically used in cryptocurrencies. Unlike a blockchain, which consists of blocks, DAGs, directed acyclic graphs, have vertices and edges. Thus, crypto transactions
Yes.
are recorded as vertices. These transactions are then recorded on top of one another. Yep, yep,
So yeah, it was DAG, not DAO, because there are
yep.
a lot of DAOs out there. Probably not too
DAG,
many DAGs.
DAG. Yeah, it's interesting. Hey, they could be the front runner. I mean, if they get more adoption and more people decide to hop on this train. I mean,
I
look
mean,
at it.
look at the weekly MACD. I mean,
It's
it's
it's pretty
definitely confirmed there.
it's pretty decent.
It's a bit of a double D.
It's big old double D's.
Yeah, look at the double Ds, man. That's
um,
definitely double Ds there. Well, I'm not sure if you're looking at what I'm looking at, but I see double Ds.
I
No,
s-
no, the other. Yeah, no. Go back,
oh here,
go back. Yeah, right there. That's
dum
the
dum
first div, and then there's the
dum dum.
second div as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So
very
yeah,
interesting.
double div, and just waiting on price structure. So H bar definitely one to keep an eye out for. Yes,
Very very
first div.
second
That's
div.
the second div there, guys.
Very interesting.
Yeah, just waiting on price structure, and I mean, definitely in location. Look, guys, we're in the
We're at the
bottom of the ocean.
bottom of the range, and it's hanging on by a thread here. Really, it's hang
Well, I wouldn't even say it's hang. Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. It's kind of hanging on there.
it's hanging on by a
But look,
thread.
it's gonna range. It's gonna do its thing. So yeah, expect some news to come out of H bar. If we can see some more accumulation, there's definitely something that they're working on. You know,
That-
down the road.
And hey, they're quiet. They haven't been, you know,
And that's even better. When things are quiet, people are, the insiders are slowly accumulating their positions because they know something, or that they believe that there's something, that the project's working on that might be potentially great. Then yeah, this is probably the perfect time to pick some up. because you'll be able to. The best thing is you'll be able to fill yourself in very high amounts
Mm.
or with very very great liquidity.
You know what's interesting is so Danny, is technically speaking here, is the bear asleep? We've got one high, two high, three high. Oh well, three high, and
No,
then the low
that no. Look at the current red bar.
here.
No. The current high
The
red.
here.
Yeah, that one there.
Yeah,
I think that broke the previous high.
which
So
was
go
this
back.
one.
Yeah, which was that one. What does that say?
So it's not
So,
technically asleep.
so it's not asleep. It's it's in fact it's woken up, which is not a great thing.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Well,
Because
okay.
the Bulls definitely fell asleep, but the Bears woke up a little bit. But look, we've just got to. You're on a weekly chart, so
Yeah,
we've got some time for it to play out. So the Bulls, the Bears can definitely still fall asleep. It just might take some more time,
make some time.
and
Yeah.
then just got to wait for the Bears to slowly accumulate and wake up again.
Algorand, man. I'm hearing a lot of news about Algorand. A
I
lot
mean,
of people are interested.
and guys, the for a lot of these altcoins, the MACDs have kind of turned on a weekly. So we're
Yeah.
getting closer, if anything. We're getting closer to a bottom. So guys, even if you see red on a day like this, in terms of the long term, uh, definitely think, start switching. We might be changing streams, from the, upstream or downstream to the upstream, or from upstream to
To the
downstream.
downstream, yeah.
Yeah, we might be changing the tide here.
Maybe this might be a little. Let's actually see what the 50% rule is here. From the high to the current low, which is there. Yeah, almost a
Yep,
dollar
back up
sixty.
against those highs, and that's probably 100, 150% gain, and it's probably going to go sideways like that, and we're just going to create new structures, more sideways movement. Actually, that's a lot higher than
Jesus
150%.
Christ.
Yeah, so I'm thinking
Jeez.
that's probably the upper end of the range for now.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if we break those highs, this thing could go ballistic and could definitely easily 10x, 100x.
Let's see with the volume here. Oh, it doesn't even have 200 bars. Look at that.
Yeah,
And
so
this seems
there's a nice notch where you've got that 50%.
right there. Oh, here. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that notch.
Yeah.
So guys, that notch gets filled in sometime down the road.
Yeah, look at that. Honestly, stuff like just seeing this makes me hype for the next bull market.
Well,
'Cause-
look, the thing is, HT, I'm pretty sure you've seen these in theory, but wait till you see these in real time in reality. It just makes it all the more worthwhile
yeah.
because what you're seeing here, I'm sure I've shown you how they work, but on a back test.
Yeah. Well,
But once you see these things work in real time, you're gonna learn a lot more.
let's let the people know. So Danny has been around for 3 cycles now. Three
Oh, I
halvening
would say
cycles.
two. I would say
Two.
definitely 2 cycles.
So this is my first cycle. Like Danny is my teacher. He's the one that taught me all of this, together with listening to the Rational Investor. And um, this is my first cycle. I entered basically. Some would say at the worst time, but I would say this is the best time to enter
Oh
because
yeah, guys. If you guys are coming in here at this time at this cycle, and if you can learn a couple of things, you guys will make a killing in the next bull cycle.
exactly. This is like Mr. Brian Beamish says. This is when the markets are on sale, and this is the
No, well,
only.
nobody wants to. That's the most weirdest thing about markets. It's when things go on sale. no one wants to buy.
No one wants to buy.
It's like if Coles had a sale on, I don't know, milk, or let's say they were giving away milk.
Yeah.
Everyone would be there to grab the milk. If they were giving away milk at like 10 cents, there would be lines going out to, like, the car parks. But
Yeah.
when the markets are on sale like this, no one wants to touch it. No one wants to think about it. So it's quite funny how that works.
It's so interesting because it's so true. Like, what don't you want to buy, an asset cheap? Why would you want to
I mean,
buy a house for 2 million when you could buy it for 300,000?
exactly. Well, look, HT, I know you're a cheap ass by nature.
Yes, by nature, yes I am.
I mean, that's the same with Brian.
Um, yeah, so I'm looking forward to the bull, man. I am looking for, and look at it. It kind of looks like, okay, here, would you say the bull is awake or asleep here?
Oh,
The
I mean,
the
it
the sorry,
broke
the
the
the the bear.
bears are still awake, but they're falling asleep.
They're
Look at this. I mean, I guess this week just printed,
yeah,
but we're not getting too much more sell pressure.
yeah.
To be honest, on Algorand, if anything, now it's incumbent on the bears. Sorry,
The
on the bulls to
bulls.
wake up.
And hey, we're getting W's. We're getting W's. Look at
Not
this.
that, yeah, it's not that clean, but we're definitely looking to turn.
I'm just glad, man. I got in at 34 cents, and I am happy with that.
Well, definitely gonna start accumulating down at the bottom end of this
Uh,
range here.
I'm gonna. I'm thinking about entering again, end of October, beginning of November, because that's where I'm thinking again. Like we're gonna get another dump, so I'm assuming we're gonna test this horizontal support, this little one here.
Yeah.
So around the 22, um, yeah, 22
You know,
cent range.
I'm really keen for the November timeline. I'm really curious to see how they play the markets in November.
Yeah.
Definitely in March as well. I'm very curious to see what they're gonna do in March.
Mm.
Because we've got some celestial events lined up for March, but at the same time, the, sometimes in March you'll see the market does normally tank a little.
Mm.
But this could be one of those cases where it's a special case where the markets could actually turn up in March. Normally in March, you know, I guess they say March is not a great time overall. It's what is it? The Something to do with war with Mars.
Oh,
I'm not too I'm
March
not too great with
Madness.
this. Yeah, I'm not too great with this celestial stuff, but yeah, I
So
mean,
so with your experience in prior cycles, was March a bear month?
well, March is considered a bear period in traditional finance. So if you
Right.
look up, if you look up some cycles,
Oh.
you'll definitely see that the generally in March you'll see um, some bear moves. Normally, in traditional finance the markets kind of go up leading into January, February
Mm.
because a lot of people they'll spend their money.
They're on
A lot of
holiday.
things.
They
They're
just,
on holidays
yeah,
and Christmas, so and there's a lot of money to be made there
yeah.
during that period.
Everyone's out. Everyone's, spending money, and whereas the people that are, trying to make money are like, okay, well, everyone's out. Let me start trading. I'm
Yep,
not,
pretty
yeah.
much.
Speaking of traditional finance, um, are you accumulating Twitter at all? Cause
I mean, I'm guessing this is about the Elon Musk, like basically he bought it, right?
yeah, he's basically it's confirmed now. He's going ahead with it. So um, yeah, I mean, look at that.
Yeah,
Look
look,
at this. Look at this
me
pump.
personally,
Yeah.
I'm not much of a, I wouldn't say I'm much of a blue chip stock buyer. I'm more of a, bit more of a microchip kind of smaller, yeah. Smaller
Smaller.
cap stocks would
Yeah,
be more of my type of play, just because there's more reward
right.
potential there.
It's interesting because on the announcement that it's confirmed. Look at that. Look at this institutional fingerprint right here. Ah, would you call that an institutional?
No,
Actually,
I
that's
wouldn't
not a.
call that a
This one here would be the
institutional fingerprint.
institutional.
No, I would go back.
Further? Ah, here.
Yeah,
Here, you're right.
those two bars, that's your institutional fingerprint, and then before that, to the left of that,
This one here.
no, look left, look left, look left, look left, look left, look
Further.
left, look left. Yeah, there you go.
Ah,
And
aha.
guys, that's a key reversal.
Holy, oh my God, I did not even see that.
So guys, this is a very powerful signal. When you guys see a key reversal,
So tell
at the
the
bottom
people
end
what a
of a
key
range,
reversal is.
so a key reversal is when uh, it's an engulfing. So the green, the open and the close finishes, um, it basically engulfs the previous two, the two bars preceding it, and it engulfs it entirely in its wicks
Yep.
and body. So the body itself must engulf the wicks and the tails and wicks and the bodies of the preceding two bars,
Yep.
and that's a very powerful signal. And look what happened right after that signal confirmed. It made a little nice W, just confirming
Yeah.
that price did want to actually
Go
turn.
up. Yeah.
And is it a coincidence that when they brought the market back down, they brought it back down back
To
to that
that
institutional
level.
fingerprint?
Yeah.
So does that make sense, guys?
Yeah. Well, it
And
still has to
I'm
test it again, right? Because
yeah,
it still wants to
well,
test this.
who knows? But I'm willing to bet that that reload zone was an 88.6 or maybe lower.
This one here.
Yeah, if you start it from the key reversal.
Boom. Take it to the recent high. This one high.
Yep.
Boom.
It's a bit lower than 88.6. But yeah, see how that
Wow.
88.6 lines up with the W there,
Wow. Right.
the Wyckoff check there.
Yep.
So if you had a Wyckoff check waiting to be filled there, you got filled in July. Now that's a killer trade.
That's an amazing trade. Do you reckon it'll go back and test this key reversal?
Oh, well, that's a
Like
great.
test the bottom of this.
I, I wish I had a crystal ball, but look, anything could happen.
Right. Right. Um. Yeah. Very interesting. Um. Give me your thoughts on AMD, because AMD, I remember we spoke about AMD a while back. Where is it? Where is it? Here we are. And this
Well,
was
yeah,
just a
I
paper
actually
trade.
I actually got a recent notification on AMD and HT. This is a testament to what I was talking about with AMD. If you go back on a daily,
Yep.
so remember how I was saying, why you never take a trade on a trend line. I think I remember this conversation
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I basically said you can definitely see how if it if you don't make structure on the other side of that, look how that was a trap for the
For the
bulls.
bulls.
People that thought that AMD was breaking out, they bought there, and guess what happened? It turned into an M. It rode down the trend line and followed it, and then broke below it, and look where it is now, guys.
Yeah.
So this is exactly why you don't take a trade on a trend line.
If it did this, if it did boom, 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 that's where you would. That's a great sign.
That is a great trade.
That's a great sign. But it did the exact opposite. It just went M'd out. So always waits for a W on the other side of the trend line that you've drawn.
Well, let's
Always.
have a look at the bottom.
Oh, the bottom.
Yeah,
Jeez.
let's have a look at where the base is.
Here.
Ooh, we've got some more work to do. You might have to you might have to expand the VPVR.
Oh right, yeah. Well, I'll have to go to a weekly because unfortunately, um,
Yeah. Yeah, there's still
it's
there's
there's a
still some
lot of
work
room,
left.
a
There's
lot of
still
room.
some work left.
And honestly, if you look left here, this isn't that great of a support.
Yeah.
This here wants to be tested.
Yeah, guys, look, don't be surprised if you see like a $20 AMD. But if you ever see a $20 AMD, that's probably
That's a
pretty cheap.
that's your best time to buy.
Yeah.
Um,
AMD, I have this love-hate relationship with AMD because
wh-
it was one of the when when I got into crypto, AMD was one of the stocks that I would have wanted to have been in.
yeah,
Because I knew that at the time AMD was competing with Intel, and they were doing really well. And at the time, I think AMD was at like $3 or $4 or $5,
yeah,
um, and that
yeah.
would have been my yeah, that would have been my entry point. And ever since there, it just went absolutely insane.
Bonkers, absolutely bonkers. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it retests all of this.
But look, you know what? I'm changing my tune on AMD now. I'm
What?
not too convinced on AMD.
Why?
And look, I always flip. I flip very quickly. Um, and I don't do this very often, but back then I would have bought AMD. Now, the story has changed. Intel they've woken up. They've woken up to the fact that AMD um they're they're kind of they've kind of peaked. They've done all they can to catch up with Intel, and Intel are, they're fighting back with some of the chips that they've released are very powerful, that perform on par and if not better than AMD chips.
Mm.
And they've also started to release some graphics cards, I believe.
Have they
Um,
really?
yeah, they're working on some of their own graphics cards.
Interesting. That's a big play because AMD does both, right?
Yeah,
They do.
AMD does both. I mean, Nvidia is probably the best market for graphics cards, but Intel and AMD they got their hands in there.
You know what's interesting is Intel basically rode the wave of Apple, and then once Apple decided to, make their own chips, it just went downhill from there. Downhill from there. And I think it was in around 2018, 2017 where Apple decided to make their own chips on their
Yeah,
MacBook Pros and their desktops. They were making their own chips, and if you look here, it just didn't want to do nothing. It did not want to do anything. Interesting, man. Interesting. We just gotta wait and see. I think tomorrow will be. Hopefully, all of this will reverse. Which, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if it does, because at the moment we're just playing around. We are. Oh, geez, what is all this? We are just playing around between, um, bears and bulls, and we'll see what happens. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be on here again, and we'll do some trades tomorrow because today it just doesn't look that great. And honestly, I don't. The only thing that's piquing my interest is Tron, and I've got to I've got to keep an eye out and just see. I want to do more research and see why it's going uppy at the moment. Otherwise, thank you all for joining. Um, we are looking to stream daily, just to put out a bit of content. 30 to 40 minutes. Leave us suggestions as to what you would like to see next. What would you would like to hear from? Would you like more play-by-play where we actually do live trades? Would you like more educational content? Please give us some suggestions. And check out our socials: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Our podcast. Our podcast is, very, very information
Highly,
rich,
highly informative.
very informative. A lot of news, a lot of breakdown as to what might happen, and honestly, we actually talked about how we might see a red for the next couple of weeks. So, and it looks like we're going towards that way, and you just got to look at Bitcoin, and here's your reasoning right here. Look at this. Here's your reasoning, and look, we might we're breaking out of this trend line, right, guys? Hey, we got it. We just have to wait for a W. If we wait for a W, then great. But if we don't and we get an M, then this might be our next
Lights,
level.
yeah, lights out.
So, thank you all for joining. We'll see you all tomorrow. So, from us, Danny,
Peace.
peace.